Welcome back to the channel. I got my box, my goodie box that I created for myself from Mile High Comics in Denver. I've already taken the liberty of opening it and clearing out some of this popcorn, this packing popcorn. Um, they did a fantastic job of packaging this. So I will spare you the entire uh, box opening process and pull out this first stack of comics. If you saw the video that I did um, initially on location from Mile High Comics in Denver, I showed a lot of these, but I did not show you everything. So that's what this video is about. So there's that first stack right there. All right, let's see. Yeah, I'm very impressed with the job that they did packing this all in one box. Free shipping, but I mean, I spent enough money that, you know, it's like, come on, the shipping's got to be complimentary. So they did me a solid there. Nice thin layer of bubble wrap. There we go. Shogun Warriors. I really was able to add a lot to my collection of Shogun Warriors on this trip. Got a number of issues that I can add. I think there was only 23 total issues. So, you know, it's not a Herculean task. Nice layer of packaging here. And then we've got the individual books. So we've got issue number 10, issue number 9, issue number 3, issue number 11, issue 204 of Captain America and the Falcon, Jack Kirby, issue number 8 of Commandy, The Last Boy on Earth, more Jack Kirby. This is a cool cover. It's not Mount Rushmore, but he's getting chased through this hall of, you know, long dead presidents like Nixon, Kennedy. I think that's Lyndon B. Johnson back there. Issue number 7 of Commandy. I love this cover. This is an awesome cover. You know, it like, you look at this and you're like, okay, the reader is assuming it's some sort of big King Kong type monster. I mean, it's got all the motifs. It's got the biplanes, and, you know, he's up on top of a skyscraper. But it only shows you the giant hand and not the beast itself. This makes me want to open the comic, you know, and see what kind of big monster ape shenanigans are going on. So let's see what else we've got here. Captain Victory. God, I love Captain Victory and the Galactic Rangers. So I have, I think, issues 1 through 6 probably, and then I kind of lost track. You know, I don't mind buying doubles of this particular title. This is Kirby at his mind-bending best. There are some really high concepts in this magazine. You know, he's working for PC Comics at this point. It's late in his career. There's like basically no editorial strictures on him that he experienced at Marvel and DC. So it's just one high concept Kirby crazy idea after another. This, I think, is kind of an iconic cover for Captain Victory. Just Kirby's monsters are just, you know, they're the best. They're the best. So, yeah, just really beefing up my run of Captain Victory, hoping to get all of the issues collected. I don't have all of the issues, and that's what I'm going for. More Commandy, issue number 11. More Shogun Warriors, issue number 8. Issue number 6. Shogun against Shogun. Yeah. More Commandy, giant bat creature. This is another awesome cover. Boy, I'll tell you, the covers on Commandy are just fantastic. These Kirby covers are great, man. More Shogun Warriors. I think there's another issue there. Forward, fellow Yakuza. Conquer Shogun's sanctuary for the honor of our criminal brotherhood. So, yeah, Shoguns versus Yakuza. I mean, that's probably not going to go well for the Yakuza, but you never know. This book here, this is one I discovered there, The Essential Star Child. I got issues 3, 5, and 6. It's pretty much all they had. I've never heard of this, never seen it, but I was really impressed with the artwork. Just, finely detailed. It's got kind of a steampunk, fantasy, gothic vibe to it. It's a nice change of pace. And then I think it was one of the blurbs is what sold me on these. Yeah, I think it was this one. Reading James Owen's Star Child is a lot like putting together one of those 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles. It takes extra effort. Parts of the overall whole only appear gradually, almost reluctantly, out of parts that are mysterious and confusing on their own. But eventually, when enough of the tiny interlocking pieces are fit together, a grand and exciting picture begins to take shape. Read Star Child carefully, and only at those times when the kids are in bed and the TV is off and all the other distractions of your day are settled. Then expect to get richly rewarded for your efforts. So, yeah, cool. Okay, I'm sold. I'm looking, straight up superhero comics, are basically, pretty linear. I mean, they've got story arcs going on, and but a superhero plot is a superhero plot. There's there's the heroes, the villains, some objective. There's the fighting. So this is something a little more detailed, a little more clearly designed to be read, more akin to perhaps a very heavily illustrated book. That type of description kind of makes it sound like it could have been a fictional book, but it's illustrated. It's comics. So yeah, I'm gonna read these 3. If I like them, I'm gonna seek out the other volumes. I have not even researched this. I don't know how many books there are. If it's still being published, don't know. But that's part of the joy of comics, is discovering stuff like this. John Byrne's 2112. First of all, anything that has 2112 on it, since I'm a huge Rush fan, and of course, looking at this, I'm like, well, this can't possibly be based on, the rock band Rush and their album 2112, or could it? But it's not. But it's John Byrne, and it's in the future, and it's science fiction, and that sells me. I like John Byrne. John Byrne is awesome. He's a great writer, great artist. Comics interview. This I don't think was on the original video, so this is new. So yeah, they had a bunch of these laying around. Spotlight on the Punisher, who is sadly RIP in the Marvel universe, but whatever. We've got probably 40 years of back issue Punisher comics that we can get into. Always an interesting character. A lot of interviews. I think I bought this just because of the Punisher spotlight. It's probably around, I think, the time the first Punisher movie came out, potentially. But yeah, anyway, anytime I can get in some good interview action with some of these comics creators, especially from the silver age and the bronze age, is it's always a good read. You always a lot. There's always a lot to learn, and you get some cool back matter stuff or like pencils from original comics and so forth. So this was cool. I mean, good lineup. Gary Conway, Mike Barron, Carl Potts, Jim Lee, Mike Zeck, John Beatty, Stephen Grant, Phil Zimmelman, and more. Comics interview. Probably need to pick up a few more issues of that. I've had my eye on this book for a while. Howard Shakin, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and Steve Olaf. Um, Kind of a unique, standout looking book. Um, Space opera for sure. Yeah, anything that's space opera, just ornately illustrated, kind of epic. Highbrow, a lot of characters. Yeah, I'm into that. I've heard about this book for actually. I kind of remember when this came out as a mini series before it was collected in this trade paperback. I don't know if I have issues of these in my vault, but I do remember when it came out. And I did, I don't think I collected the whole thing. I may not. I'm not even sure if I don't think I read it because I don't. None of this looks real familiar to me, but I remember the cover. So anyway, looking forward to reading this. Usually anything Howard Shakin is good. All-Star Comics to continue to collect these. This is volume 9, which I did not have. I've got 6 and 7. Yeah, volume 6 and 7. So just continuing my Justice Society of America in All-Star Comics run. What else? What else do we have? I gotta dig more out of this box. A lot of popcorn. Popcorn everywhere. Popcorn for everybody. Let's see. Which side is up? Here we go. These are big hardcovers. They kept these together. Also cool, they kept the big bulky books away from the individual comics so as not to damage them in transit. Always got to be careful when you do the knife. You do not want to cut your comics. Move the knife out of the way. Jack Kirby's Galactic Bounty Hunters. Man, I didn't even know that this existed. I had no clue. I don't even remember coming across this, but this is definitely one of those deals where it was Kirby had some old art laying around. Apparently this was a comic he didn't finish. Probably a lot of it just conceptual, but Marvel owned much of his artwork, and I'm sure they probably did a deal where they brought in some other artists to finish it up. You can see even here, it's got signed by Jack Kirby, but you got Kessel and Thibodeau. Thibodeau was inking him at Pacific Comics, definitely for Captain Victory, and probably for Silver Star too. So, but yeah, I'm such a Kirby fan. Like even the stuff that he didn't finish, that Marvel and I think also Topps Comics finished out. In other words, they brought in other artists and other writers to just kind of piece together a whole from the pieces of the puzzle that Kirby left, or in some cases just took the rough concepts that he had. As you see here, from the mind of the king comes Jack Kirby's Galactic Bounty Hunter. So just creating product, synthesizing a product, kind of like what Tolkien's kid does. with some of his books, and now with Dune. I think Frank Herbert's Dune epic. He had some ideas laying around before he passed away, and his son Brian Herbert, basically took the ball and ran with it. So I'm on board. Steve Ditko Omnibus Volume 1. I grabbed these on the way to the cash register. I saw them on the on the rack, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. So these are not hard to buy or come by. Even my local comic book shop has copies of these. So I probably could have just bought them at my LCS, but I don't know. I was in a very good mood. I was in Denver. I was in a buying frenzy. Yeah, I was like, oh, these two are here. They're on the stand. Yeah, let me just grab them, put them in my box, and have them shipped to me. So anyway, yeah, this is Steve Ditko's work for DC Comics. This is Volume 1. Let's see, what's a little bit, any highlights of the synopsis? The Shade, The Changing Man, and contributions to anthologies like Weird War Tales and Mystery in Space. That's what I mainly interested in, the anthology stuff that Ditko did for DC. So here they are collected in this first volume in all its glory. It's all of its Steve Ditko glory. Nobody draws astonishment and surprise like Steve Ditko. I mean, I grew up looking at comics like this, for better or for worse, to my human psyche. Um, just if you don't know Steve Ditko, I implore you, go and research and find. There are so many books um, that collect his work from so many of the different companies, publishing companies that he worked for. Not just DC, but Marvel. Of course, he was famous for Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. And we got Volume 2 as well. So who is that? Is that Hawk and Dove? Yeah, that's Hawk and Dove on the cover. Um, Hawk and Dove are so popular and remain popular. That's one of those superhero groups or teams. Like I just don't get them. I don't understand the appeal of Hawk and Dove. Um, Adventure Comics and Legion of Superheroes. So yeah, Ditko's work on Legion of Superheroes, I'm totally down for that. That is definitely the type of comic I think that Ditko is made for. Anything where you can feature kind of the weird sci-fi. So I don't know how long his run was on Legion of Superheroes, but it looks like it's a pretty good run. So uh, totally glad to take a look at that. Let's see, these were coming out in the 60 cents era. So I might actually have some of these now that I think about it. That cover looks familiar to me. But yeah, yeah. But anyways, have them collected here too. Um, I mean, just looking at this makes me just want to turn off the camera and sit down and start reading it. So might have to shut this video down. No, we'll finish it out. We've got one more book. Speaking of Legion of Superheroes, Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes, Volume 1. Um, Mike Grell is what caught my eye on this. Mike Grell is a fantastic artist, absolutely incredible artist. I guess this was a run that he did. Legion of Superheroes is very prolific comic. I don't know how many issues, but it's up there. It's way up there. And I got into them like in the 80s, but started digging around for the early versions back in the 60s. I've got a Legion of Superheroes omnibus that starts from the Silver Age. Maybe we'll take a look at that at some point. But this run here, I don't think I was in the game when these were coming out. Or maybe it was before the game, before I was in the game. So these might have come out, I think, late 70s, maybe they're talking here. So yeah, I don't think I've got any of these individual issues. So that's why I grabbed this, because this might have been Mike Grell before he went on to fame, creating The Warlord, which is a fantastic, fantastic comic and an excellent, excellent character. So Yeah, looking forward to looking at that. I'd never seen that before. Um, and that is all there is. I just double checked the box. There's nothing but emptiness and popcorn, packing popcorn. So that's all. So yeah, got my work cut out for me on these. Um, I got another video showcasing this graphic novel here, Dr. Midnight, that I'll be posting soon. That one was about 40 minutes long, so I really need to edit that to a certain extent. But I wanted to get to this one to crack these open and start digging into them and reading them, and two, because I had been promising this video for I think now a month and a half or a couple of months, and so here it is. If you are ever in town in Denver, I strongly recommend you go to Mile High Comics to just take it all in. It's kind of like a Disney World for geeks. Yeah, it's hard to describe. Go back and watch that video I posted. It'll give you some sense of the size of the place, and you will definitely spend all day in there if you have the time. I didn't have the time to spend all day, and I still was able to snag all of this. So it's probably a good thing I didn't have the time to spend all day in there. I'd be filing for bankruptcy. So anyway, yeah, I highly recommend it. It's a good shop to check out for sure. Always support your local comic book shops when you can. Um, and I'll leave you with that. Until then, stay geek and take care.